Welcome back for another Blacksburg Buzz episode. I'm here with the Wrestling SID, Ethan Aguigui. Really cool, awesome story from him. So, Ethan, just coming over here from Guam and getting started in wrestling, what was it like for you making that transition?
So it was definitely a culture shock coming from Guam and then going to Michigan. I was born and raised on the island, and then going to Michigan and experiencing those Midwest winters, it was a little different. But it's been a fun journey for sure, and I'm happy where I've ended up. I've been here for the last 7 years, and couldn't be more grateful.
How did you get started into the wrestling scene over there in Guam? I've never been, I don't know what it's like there.
Well, you're not the only one. There's a pretty big demographic who don't know, but so jiu-jitsu and MMA are huge back home. It's actually probably bigger than any other sport aside from soccer and basketball. So I've had friends who were in both, and I've cross-trained with them. And I used to play basketball, but I was never really all inclined to the team aspect, and I kind of stopped growing. So I picked up wrestling. My dad used to do it in high school, so I thought it would be interesting. So picked that up late compared to kids in the U.S. They start at 4. I started when I was 15, so playing a little catch up. But I started it, dropped my other sports, stuck with it since, and it's led me here. So and across the world, really. So truly grateful for it.
So with that cross-world experience, I know you've been to Oceania, all over there, Mongolia, tons of other places. Are there any areas that you got to go to that really stand out to you in memory?
Yeah. Shout out to you, did your research. A lot of people know I went to Mongolia, but Mongolia was sweet. That was like my first big across the world trip, aside from obviously going to the U.S. But Mongolia to the U.S. is really apples and oranges, but at the same time, it's like that's literally the other side. So that was cool, just experiencing another country's culture, cuisine. Really, I don't know if a lot of people know, but like horse is pretty. It's like an exotic meal. So that was interesting. So that was fun. I've been to Kazakhstan. That's also, wrestling takes you to these places that aren't exactly paradise destinations, but it's you appreciate these different experiences, and just being able to experience other people and other cultures, and see the world really.
Mm-hmm. So with your wrestling journey, you kind of started out going to Michigan in the U.S., correct?
Yeah.
So what led you over to Michigan and then Penn State after that, right?
So my parents, they're big on education, and obviously Michigan is one of the top institutions in the country. And they had the best wrestling program that coincided with the best academics that I had applied to and gotten into. So it was kind of a no-brainer for me in that respect. And then finished up, went home for a year, and then decided I still wanted to wrestle. And on that trip to Mongolia, I met Frank Molinaro. He was training at Penn State. And then Cody Sanderson, he was an assistant coach. They extended an invitation to come to State College to train. Went over there for just under a year, and made my way down here.
So Frank was the one that brought you down to Tech, right?
Yeah.
You got hired on with the school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had gotten close during my time in State College, and when Coach Roby was elevated to his position here, he brought Frank and his family, and after a couple months, they both convinced me to come down to Blacksburg, take a visit, and after that, it's rest is history.
Now is a great time to mention today's video sponsor. Bet Online is your #1 source for all your summer sports this season, from MLB, golf, NBA, and NHL playoff stats. All the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. So coming from Guam to Michigan, Penn State, now kind of a smaller town like Blacksburg, has that transition been difficult for you at all, or was it pretty easy?
So, moving from Guam to Michigan was, a little difficult just because, I mean, the big house kind of seats 108,000 people, and the population back home is 160. So, just seeing more than half of, my population in one area, it's a bit eye-opening, but, it's fun. It was fun. I was grateful for my time there. And then Penn State, a little smaller, but still, kind of big city or small town, doesn't really have that big city feel.
Mm-hmm.
And then transitioning down to Blacksburg, it's as close to home as it got for me, especially with the family aspect here, the culture that Coach Roby and everyone in Hokies wrestling that we've cultivated. It's very reminiscent of Guam and what I'm used to.
Mm-hmm. On the wrestling side of things, so I know you're still active in that scene. I know that you practice with the team,
Yeah.
which I found really interesting. So tried out for the Olympics several times. Is that still a goal for you moving forward?
Yeah, so wrestling is it's one of those unique sports where in other sports coaches don't really practice with the team, but wrestling, it's very hands-on. So it's definitely a unique experience. As far as competition goes, I kind of put my shoes, on the mat, kind of retired just because my qualifier this year was the same as NCAAs, so I wasn't able to make it. And my past two attempts to qualify, there have just been some hiccups, and that's the way life goes sometimes. But at the same time, I don't put it out of the question. I mean, there are still guys competing who are in their mid-30s and pushing maybe later in, and they're still competing. So right now, retired life is nice, man. Retired life is nice, but 2028 could come sooner than you think, and we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Obviously you've been training with, some of the best collegiate athletes in the wrestling scene. I mean, Mekhi Lewis, Caleb Henson winning the Natty this year, just a great team all around. Do you feel like that's benefited you as well in your journey through wrestling?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because, every now and then I'll go back and watch Mekhi's finals match, and just seeing all the emotions, and, it kind of makes you it inspires you in a way, and, it's like, all right, work. And, it's interesting because, I see these guys do the work every day, but, to see that moment where it all culminates, it's really gratifying. And, it's like, okay, I'm training with these guys, I'm helping these guys on their journey. So that definitely inspires me. And then just seeing how hard they work, inspires you to go do something great. And, just the fact that you're on their journey kind of, that's really fulfilling for me.
In terms of accomplishing those great things, I mean, you've done a lot of awesome things in wrestling. I mean, you won the Oceania Championship in 18 and 19, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean to you, winning a big, huge competition like that?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, it's, it's really that sense of pride that comes with representing where I'm from and representing my family. So, that's always the biggest thing for me, just because our culture is so heavily influenced by the pride that we have for where we're from. So that's huge for me. And then the second part is just seeing all the hard work come into fruition. The skip meals, the cutting weight. So it's all gratifying in that sense, but they're all steps to a larger goal. So just seeing all the ducks line up in those moments, it was great. It showed that all the work that I've been doing, all the sacrifices that were made by myself and the people, my family, they're paying off.
Mm-hmm. Just taking all those steps and, accomplishing something huge, you always talk about, through everything I've read, all the podcasts you've been on before, you always talk about, Guam and how much pride you have in where you're from. Just, can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, man, it's just something kind of innate, as with anyone where they're from, it's there's a sense of belonging, a sense of you the way you carry yourself, also represents who's behind you, and I mean, Guam's a small place, and we're a small, tight-knit community, so whether it be myself or anyone else who's from the island or has roots, you're cheering for them, and when you're doing your thing, you know that someone's cheering for you, and I got a group text with all my boys back home, and just seeing them post on social media, or family, or people who I don't even know, but because I'm from Guam, it's like, okay, shout out to the homeboy, so yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like from the outside looking in, you can't really fully understand it, and then from the inside looking out, you can't really explain it. It's just one of those ineffable feelings, but it's always great, and it gives me great pride whenever anyone asks or I get to talk about where I'm from.
Is there anything that you wish you could take from Guam and sort of implant it here into Blacksburg?
The beach would be great. It's funny, I was just talking to my neighbor and a couple of the boys the other day, and the weather's starting to get nice out. It's like, no matter where I was back home, like 5 minutes I'm at the beach. So that was always great. But I think aside from how would you say, the kind of blanking on the word right now.
Like the environment, the climate?
Yeah, I'll take the climate too. But aside from those little things, I mean, the food, having my family out here, some of my boys, Blacksburg has kind of embodied what I grew up around, and I wouldn't change it. Yeah.
In addition to working with the team, you're really involved in the Southeast Regional Training Center, right?
Yes.
What has that work meant to you and the surrounding wrestling community?
Man, it's great. It's been really gratifying seeing Hokie Nation and then Blacksburg and then extend to across the country really rally and support this SERTC, which also supports Hokies wrestling, especially in the new athletic age of NIL and everything that encompasses that. So, yeah, it makes me happy because I was originally, brought in as part of the Southeast RTC. So that's kind of like my pulling roots, really. So just to see what Coach Roby, Coach Freyer, everyone who's been on staff build, and then seeing guys like Ty Walls, who went out and got our first world medal, and then to see guys who have made the team, and then Makai Lewis become our first world champ, then Bryce Andonian, bronze. So it's great, and then shout out to Jimmy Mullen. He just won a U20 national championship over the weekend, and hoping he's a world team member out in Spain later this summer. But yeah, just to see all that and the success that we've been able to accomplish and what we've been able to cultivate, it's the future's bright in Blacksburg with the SERTC and Hokies wrestling.
With those two, and just the continued success of Virginia Tech on the mats, especially over the last several years, they've really built a culture and solidified themselves as one of those top wrestling schools. How do you think that looks headed into the future?
I think sky's the limit. I mean, this next class we have coming in, it's top 5 in the country, and then class of 2025, it's arguably number 1. So just to see the domino effect of what, shout out to Coach Dresser, he's built it up, and then Coach Roby has taken it a step further, in the past 96 years of Hokies wrestling, we've never had a national champ. Coach Roby's taken over in 7 years, and we've had 2. So that's kind of indicative of where the program is headed and what we're capable of. So, yeah, I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, we placed top 7, and, you know, a couple more wins here and there this past season. We're easily a trophy team. So the future is bright. It's, you know, it kind of gives me chills just thinking, I mean, you know, this program is going to contend for a national title, and hopefully we're the first ones to bring a team title to Virginia Tech.
Walk me through your first Olympic qualifier. I'm sure that's a big moment for you. Can you walk me through that?
Yeah, so that was in 2016 over in Mongolia. And back then I was competing at 57 kilos, which is 125 pounds. So a little younger than, you know, day before weigh-in. So, you know, making weight was not the smartest, but, you know, as long as you made weight and feel good for the next day, then whatever. So yeah, that was my first really big event. So going over there across the world, and kind of for the first time with a small team and just my coaches, and not with family or anything. So it was definitely, you know, starstruck, because, you know, I mean, I'm around guys who I watch on YouTube or whatever. So it was definitely a learning experience, just seeing how far off I was from the top guys, but yet how close I am to still being able to, you know, break through. Yeah, so I mean, I make weight. I draw, I believe it was a world champ the first round. You know, he advanced to the finals, which brought me back into repechage, and then, you know, top 3 winners place. I win my next match, and then I'm 2 matches out from qualifying, and then I run into another European champ and, you know, drop that one. But like I said, it was great to see how far or how close I could have been, you know, and then just taking that experience and then applying it to the next year, and then taking those cumulative experiences and applying it to the next one. So, you know, like I said, stepping stones each and every time.
What do you think helped you continue to improve after that, to keep taking further steps beyond?
I think just my love for the sport, really. The love to compete, you know, and just having that goal or that vision of where I wanted to be, what I wanted to accomplish. And, you know, like I said, you know, it was one of those things where, like, I wanted to be the first from Guam to qualify outright, and you know, be the first to win a match at the Olympics. You know, so a lot of first wanting to do that really pushed me to get those done.
What does your current training regimen look like at the moment?
So, well, just going back, I'm kind of retired now, so I just lift and work out with the guys every now and then, especially since we're in freestyle season, which is my stronger suit than the folk style. So just getting on the mat and, you know, doing what I can to give these guys the best feel possible, prepare them as much as I could. But, you know, if we backtrack it to when I was trying to qualify, I would be lifting 3 times a week in the morning, early morning, and then have the day to do whatever I needed to do, and then we have our afternoon sessions, and we'd be on the mat 5 days out of the week. And yeah, I mean, obviously it would change closer to competition. I would start to taper down, start to focus more on shedding weight rather than, you know, these hard intensive goes. So yeah, it's all a process. Yeah.
And in terms of retirement, how's that been like for you, just being able to rest up some?
Man, it's been good. I've been bugged by some injuries year in, year out, on and off. But it's been good. It's been still hard to kind of like grasp it a little bit, but it's been nice. It's funny. I think it was last week or prior to last week, I was on a eat ice cream every night for like 3 weeks streak, and then I accidentally ended it, but we're back. So It's good. It's good. I get to do a little bit more focusing on the SID type side of things, and then just doing whatever I can to maximize our, you know, it's about the guys now. Maximizing the most of their opportunities and making sure that they get the recognition that they deserve.
What was the ice cream flavor you were going with?
Man, it's been going with pistachio from
Okay.
Haagen-Dazs, strawberry, and then every now and then I have to jump into the milkshake game, so banana shake, and then mint chocolate chip.
Okay.
But it has to be Baskin Robbins.
Has to be
Has to be
Baskin-Robbins.
Baskin Robbins.
So, working as an SID,
Mhm.
how has that been like working with the team? I mean, you're always very active on social media, posting for them, and
Yeah.
they've built a huge following as well.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to the boys. I mean, it makes my job easy when we're winning. So, yeah, they're a huge component of that. But I think it gives a different perspective when you have an SID who has done what they've done. They know the backstories of kind of everyone on the team, and you're kind of invested into their lives on and off the mat. So that's something I don't take for granted, for sure. And then just being able, with my background of wrestling, it's like the certain terms, the certain culture that comes with it. Because I mean, if you're a new fan to wrestling, you don't really understand, how much of a niche wrestling is. So being able to have that perspective, I think that gives me an edge up, for sure, and it's something I enjoy. And just being able to interact with these guys off the mat is something that I'm truly blessed to have the opportunity to have.
Is there anyone who particularly stands out to you off the mat who you just have a great rapport with?
I mean, I wouldn't say specifically one person. I think every interaction with them is different just because of their personality. But Makai Lewis, probably. We came in together 7 years ago, so we've gotten incredibly close. He's someone who would stay at my house every now and then before I was an SID or even officially part of the staff. Someone who I've seen the highs of highs, lows of lows, and just seeing he's accomplished off the mat in his philanthropic efforts. One of the most selfless dudes you'll ever meet. So just being able to tell his story, I think that goes a long way, and being able to use my relationship with him and highlight that, something that I enjoy. And then, someone like Caleb Henson now, and, it's not just the guys who are in the spotlight all the time, but, the guys like Kyler Montgomery or Clay Nolray, who are engineering majors who don't get as much shine, but, man, off the mat, they're studs. I mean, they're academic weapons. So it's always great to have all those relationships, for sure.
And Thomas Stewart also.
Mhm.
He's been just a dominant powerhouse
Yeah.
freshman.
Yeah.
How do you, look forward ahead to his career and, working with him down the line as well?
Kid's a dog, man. He's a dog. But yeah, just knowing his potential from his prep years, and then like, man, this kid's gonna be a national champ. Comes in, he's moments away from getting into the semis, and just putting the nation on notice of scratching the surface of what we know he's capable of. So, yeah, TJ's great. His family, great kid. We come from a great family, and it's been a pleasure to work with him, and I'm excited. I mean, everyone should be excited. Him, Caleb, they're the new face of Hokies wrestling. And of course, Sam Latona, he's the old head now, but one more year and we're gonna get it done. But yeah, TJ's story, the sky's the limit. Him, Caleb, and like I said earlier, man, the future's bright. The future's really bright.
Yeah, really bright future ahead. Just like you said, there are so many talented wrestlers on this group, and so many that you look ahead and you go, there could be a national championship in several of their futures. Really impressive group that, the team has been able to build up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Is there anything about not just your time here,
Mm-hmm.
but your time in the sport where it stands out to you as a moment where you look back and you say that kind of made me who I am today?
Yeah. Ooh, that one's a loaded question. I think I could in 2021, trying to, with all COVID and stopping, and I thought that would be the year that I get to qualify. And I went to Tunisia. That was where our qualifier was. And, I was at a weight I probably shouldn't have been at. But I attempted to qualify, didn't make weight. So, I wasn't able to contest. And that one was hard because that one was on me. And I think just experiencing that kind of pushed me to, reevaluate some things, really look at things from a scope of what's in the best interest and not what may be the easiest, so to say. And, I'm grateful for it. It helped my journey, helped me. I mean, it's crazy to think that was 3 years ago. I mean, it seems like it was such shorter, but I'm grateful for it. And then really just, you could put all the experiences all together and be like, yeah, that's every single little one helped me. Yeah, and then obviously, so two of my coach's daughters back home, they actually qualified for Paris this year. So seeing them do it, that's also a moment that it's not my moment, but just seeing them when they were in elementary and then seeing them grow and then having a part in helping coach and train with them, and so seeing their dream come into fruition, that's been an amazing moment for me, just because I do want to stay in the sport. So whenever I call it done competing, coaching is probably my next move, and just seeing them realize their dreams and seeing our guys here realize theirs, it's encouraging for my future as well.
You said coaching
Mm-hmm.
is probably your next move.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere where you look and you say, that's somewhere that I want to be in the future, somewhere I want to coach?
Yeah. If Florida ever picked up wrestling, that'd be great. But no. Honestly, it's cliche to say, but I couldn't imagine coaching anyone else than the Hokies. And I think it was last year, there was a position that opened up at one of the other programs, and you don't really think about going there, but like you imagine like, oh, how would it be if you were there? And like the moment I thought of it, I thought like, oh, I'd have to coach against my guys. I'm like, yeah, couldn't do it. So here I'd love to stay, but I think the long-term goal for me and vision is to go back home and then build up our national team, and then use all the experiences I've had and fully invest into what our island's wrestlers are capable of, and seeing them take the next step. So that's probably the long-term goal. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
What do you think your first steps would be to, get towards that long-term goal of building up home?
Just moving back, that would be the first one. But just using all the little pieces of knowledge that I've learned. I couldn't ask for a better mentor to study and to learn from than Coach Roby. He's as stand-up as they come. He's going to tell you how it is, yet always keep the best interest in mind for you, because that's the type of person he is. And then, someone like Coach Frere, who's an ace when it comes to recruiting, just using his knowledge of what it means to go out and see talent and bring them in. So definitely that's something I would apply back home. And then just using all the small things I've learned. I mean, we have the best nutritionists in the game. So, changing the weight cutting culture back home. And then strength and conditioning, I've had Seth Dieters, who's great, implementing his system into back home, maximize, performance potential. So, just rounding all those things together, and then, of course, using the experiences of mentality-wise, what you have to do to get to that next level. And, just applying all those things and just knowing that the island is capable of accomplishing that. Hopefully get some guys to come to Virginia Tech. That would be the dream too. So, give back to a place that has given me so much. Something I'm truly grateful for. I mean, you couldn't say it enough that this place is special. This program is special. And now, everyone I've interacted with, they've done nothing but give a positive insight and a lasting memory for me that makes Blacksburg special, that makes Virginia Tech special. So it can't be said enough. I mean, everyone asks why Virginia Tech, why. It's simple. I mean, it's just family, it's culture, and it's because of the people here. I mean, it doesn't even matter if it's your immediate program. I mean, I could go to any of the other programs and, and any interaction or any person like Evan Hughes or Jack B, and and now with you. So it's just something that's I'm incredibly grateful for, grateful to be, and appreciative to be part of.
Yeah, I mean, they don't say this is home for no reason.
Exactly.
Whenever we bring in a new player, transfer, or whatever.
That's true. Yeah, you said it yourself.
Yeah, definitely a bright future ahead, and I'm sure you're having a lot of fun having some days off as well too. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Ethan. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and look forward to working with you some more in the future. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate you taking the time and just helping me shine light on a program and a bunch of guys who deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got an awesome story, and like you said, a fantastic program with a lot of deserving fellas that, I would say don't get quite enough light shined on them, just being in the wrestling scene. They've accomplished so many amazing things over the last few years, and, certainly so many more to come.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate it. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Ethan as much as I did. I think he's an awesome guy. Really fun talking to him and learning more about his story. Once again, I've been talking about it for a couple episodes now. Still working on that Sons of Saturday episode. It's been really busy around Blacksburg with finals, but now that I'm completely done, it's going to be a little bit easier to get content out for all of you guys. So thanks for tuning in to today's episode with Ethan Aguigui, sponsored by Bet Online, a great one, and we'll have some more great content coming up for you guys soon, so make sure you stay tuned.